Jose Aldo, he also looked awesome on Saturday night. I mean, that's the best he's looked at bantamweight. Maybe there's individual rounds you could pick out, and you want to put the point number 4 on the board there, boys. That'd be great. You could pick out individual rounds, you could say, from the Jan fight or the Moraes fight or something like that. But as a comprehensive performance, soup to nuts, this was amazing. And so here's the thing I was thinking about, though, BC. As good as he looks, and he looked good, and I want you to say what you learned watching him, you know what's kind of funny? His fortunes are not really different at bantamweight than they were at featherweight. I mean, consider for a second. He had lost twice by stoppage to Max, but he rebounded against Moicano and Stevens, and then lost, a decision to Volkanovski, but he didn't get beat up or anything. He got outpointed. Okay, you're not going to win the title, but you're still going to beat really good guys. Then he goes down to bantamweight, and let's say even he won the Moraes fight, and then, of course, he lost the Jan fight. Okay, he wins this one. He still can't beat the guys who are going to win titles, but he's going to beat the other ones. In other words, he's in a position now where we're still talking about how great he is, how dynamic he looks, but he didn't meaningfully change his proximity to the title. He just kind of refreshed the opposition, refreshed the challenges, and I think we're all pretty impressed by that. That's why I was asking a little bit about Wonder Boy, but your thoughts on Jose Aldo?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think for Aldo specifically on the weight class change, why it's helping him so much is the guys are smaller. They're not as long, they're not as powerful, and it's able to really, hey, can we get Luke off the screen? Who the hell's directing this show? Is this a Jay problem? There we go. Thank you very much. And, it's just basically he exposed Marlon Vera was red hot. This was a great fight on paper, but he showed you that there's levels to the skills and the experience and the expertise. Luke, what's crazy is we're rightfully praising Jose Aldo, and we're going to talk in a second what big fights, should be left for him, and is he all that far out of the title picture despite losing the title shot to Petr Yan? Let's not forget that had he lost this, Luke, we're probably sending him to Bellator in our eyes, right? We're probably 4 straight losses. Is this going to be one of those sneaky financial cuts for UFC? He needed this bad. I didn't understand the whole tattoo on Tati. That was a patch that he pulled off. But I will say this. This is a badass victory. The same way the knockouts of Stevens and Moicano came at a time that seemed delicate and sensitive to whether he was the same guy because he went out on his sword in such dramatic fashion twice against Holloway. I mean, look, Holloway beat the piss out of him twice. I mean, and I was really worried about him at that point. Those wins recalibrated where he's at. This one did too. And this is really the sign of a legend. I mean, I don't think we give even Frankie Edgar enough credit for his constant reinvention. This is a really nice win in that regard. And he's fun at this weight class. He's got monster power and yet can still pull out the tricks as he had to do in this one to really show Vera that there's levels.
And doing it everywhere, at distance. But when Vera wanted to clinch, stuffing takedowns, creating separation, and then that third round taking his back. I mean, it was just remarkable, dude. He is still very much a force in mixed martial arts in the bantamweight division. Maybe not the best guy in that weight class, but he's going to give anyone who's not a very, very hard night. The thing that is the through line for me, BC, that I just don't understand is, here's the one thing I don't get from the younger guys a little bit, and I'm no MMA coach, so there must be some kind of explanation that I don't understand. But if you look at Jose Aldo and you look at Wonderboy Thompson, there's a lot of tape on both of them. A lot of tape. There's a lot of known ways to beat them. Now, that's easier said than done, but I did not see Jeff Neal, and again, maybe he had a series of health complications. Who the hell knows? But Chito Vera was, for all we know, not in one of those kinds of Jeff Neal situations, and was just giving the guy way too much space, way too much time. And you do that against a guy like Aldo, it's like, dude, we saw how Max beat him twice. You saw how Volkanovski beat him. There's lessons there. Like, what do you do well? Okay, let's take those things and use it towards a game plan of removing those conditions under which Aldo thrives. These are known conditions. It's not a mystery. And again, easier said than done, but it wasn't like they were tried. He didn't really try them here. It's a little hard for me to understand that.
That's fair. That's fair. Sorry, Luke.
No selling me there a little bit. All right, but it leads to an interesting question, BC. Okay, who should he fight next? I thought Aldo. I'm going to say this, BC. I wonder what you feel about it. Aldo calls out in the post-fight interview, I believe with John Anik. He calls out TJ Dillashaw. Brian Campbell. I believe, true or false, or you could say whether I'm right or I'm wrong, I believe this is absolutely the perfect fight to make at bantamweight. And here's my case, and I want to know what you think of it. I'll make it very short. There's a lot of questions about how is TJ going to look, and nobody really knows the answers. 2 years off, what about the EPO? What about some of the injuries? By the way, he had both shoulders repaired. And we can tell with Jose Aldo, maybe he can't beat Peter Yan and maybe some of the very best guys. But if you're not one of them, he's going to beat you. It's the perfect test to see exactly where TJ is, and it's a huge opportunity for Aldo to gain some momentum with what time he has left at bantamweight. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, no, I fully agree, and I'll even add on top of that, it might be his shortest path back to the title, Luke, because while all those questions about TJ Dillashaw are right on, I mean, we just don't know, right? Could he be a stop and drop Diet Cola version of himself without all that juice, so to speak, or just the age? I mean, he ain't young, and the injuries and all that. UFC would be willing to put him in a title opportunity because of the name alone, Luke. I'm actually a little bit surprised he's not just parachuting back into a title shot given some of UFC's matchmaking choices. So if you're Aldo, this might be your only chance to get back to the title with a big win here. And the guy's coming in with so many questions. Aldo's been active and busy. And matchup-wise, I mean, look, if TJ's on point, the speed and elusiveness are going to be tough for Aldo to deal with. But Aldo's also an incredible counterpuncher at this weight class where I think it might be Bull and Matador style that could play out very well for either of them. So I love this fight. I love two old names and stars. You add in the potential for title opportunities here. I really want to know who Dillashaw is because, Luke, I was monster huge on him. I mean, I picked him to beat everyone he beat in that run before the drugs and the Cejudo. I didn't think he lost to Assunção or Dominic Cruz. I'm not sure I've ever seen him lose in that regard. I even have an asterisk on the cutting down in weight loss to Cejudo. But when he got caught the way he did, I mean, Luke, I am a reformed, thanks to you, a reformed believer in this whole drug thing that, they're all using. But it was a little bit shattering just the same to be like, man, was all that fake? Is he not that guy? I don't know if he can prove that he still is, Luke. There's 2 years off is a lot when you're already 34, 35 years old. So, yeah, perfect fight. Book it. It can't be a main event on a pay-per-view, but it would certainly be a spectacular co-main.
Yeah, or you could make it the main event for a fight night, depending on how the calendar rolls out. I just love everything about it. Now, I don't know TJ's willingness, but if you're TJ and they're not going to parachute you back into a title shot, and you go out there and you fight Jose Aldo and you whip his ass, depending on I mean, that's not a given, but let's say that you do. Dude, they can't deny you at that point. I mean, there's no denying that at bantamweight, even with the Moraes loss, and, he gave Peter Yan hell for a time as well, and then he has this win over Chito Vera. Dude, he can fight. He is still super, super good, still athletic, still powerful. I think he's making the cut to 135 better and better each time. You can beat that guy, and you can beat that guy soundly. They will give you a title shot. At that point, the controversy, the fact of the matter, I mean, there's just so many things in terms of your favor to get it done. And it just will be a hell of a fight. You know what's good to see from Aldo this time, BC? Leg kicks.
Yes.
He didn't overuse them, but he had a bunch of really good ones. Left hook to the body, right leg kick. He was hammering Chito Vera, forcing him to stand switch.
Yeah, his focus now on the body, although, look, bringing back the kicks, even the kicks he was checking from Vera in the first round was very effective for him. But him as a targeted left hook to the liver guy now is extra dangerous, Luke. I love this version of Aldo. I mean, it was tough to see Peter Yan sit on his back and punch him in the back of the skull 25 times in a pool of blood. Outside of that, I've loved this version of Jose Aldo at bantamweight. I mean, he's a man down there, and it's got to be a hellacious cut. I always thought he would go up to lightweight, but now I think about it, he's too small, right? That would have been disastrous.
Right, no doubt about it. He's way too small. But at bantamweight, there's a lot of life left in him. A lot of life left in him.
TV taught me how to dream. It was a life jacket. I don't think you can be an artist and not touch people